The quietest moment in private aviation often comes before the invoice is ever seen. A Gulfstream flight begins as convenience, but behind it sits scheduling, fuel, crew, maintenance, insurance, and permission. For the passenger, it feels frictionless. For the owner, every minute of friction has already been prepaid. The cabin sells calm. The business underneath sells time, control, privacy, and a very expensive absence of waiting. Private flying is not only about arriving first. It is about never entering the public rhythm of delay. When introduced, the G700 carried a reported list price around $75 million. Customization can change the conversation quickly. The first cost is not the flight. It is the commitment to own a machine that never sleeps financially. A Gulfstream may wait gracefully, but maintenance calendars continue moving, whether the owner flies or stays home. Owners do not simply buy metal and leather. They employ judgment, training, fatigue management, and calm under pressure. The luxury is silence in the cabin. The cost is preparation everywhere else. Fuel is the visible bill. On long-range jets, the invisible bill is the system built around it. Industry estimates often place large cabin Gulfstream total hourly costs near 5 figures, depending on assumptions and utilization. Even hospitality becomes aviation grade, weighed, secured, cooled, documented, and timed before anyone asks for a glass of water. The aircraft is only profitable to the owner's life if the calendar can justify its appetite. Gulfstream says the G700 cabin can be configured with up to 5 living areas, including a grand suite. Customization feels personal in the cabin. In the workshop, it is labor, certification, weight, fire rules, and patience. For some travelers, the jet is less a vehicle than a corridor, connecting controlled environments. Private flight often begins with one calculation. What is an hour worth when the day is already sold? A Gulfstream can bypass terminals, not physics, weather, airspace restrictions, or the mathematics of runway capacity. It includes 2 people trained to make abnormal moments feel ordinary. The Gulfstream name began with a business travel idea, long before private jets became cultural shorthand for power. Gulfstream traces its story to the Gulfstream I, whose first flight in 1958 helped define business aviation. What looks effortless on a runway is born in factories where every gram, wire, and tolerance matters. The engines make distance feel simple. Their care makes ownership feel permanent. Range is not just geography, it is the emotional privilege of making the faraway feel administratively close. The takeoff is brief. The financial runway behind it may stretch across years. At 40,000 feet, the real product is not champagne. It is uninterrupted decision-making. The meal may be modest. The extraordinary part is where, when, and under whose schedule it appears. After landing, the romance ends quietly. The airport still remembers every service it provided. In winter, convenience meets chemistry, labor, delay risk, and another invoice line most passengers never imagine. Before the jet flies, it must live somewhere. Protection from weather becomes real estate with wings attached. The safest flights are often paid for long before departure, inside rooms that passengers never see. A private jet is insured not as an indulgence, but as a fast-moving asset carrying concentrated risk. Sometimes the value is not luxury at all. It is landing closer to the thing that matters. The jet becomes rational when the meeting begins before a commercial passenger would have cleared immigration. The cabin keeps no public memory. That discretion is one of the reasons people pay. Even after purchase, value keeps moving through age, flight hours, maintenance history, demand, and patience. In aviation, paperwork is not bureaucracy. It is part of the aircraft's body. The destinations may be glamorous. The operation remains concrete: paperwork, fuel, weather, and ground handling. Private travel removes crowds, not consequences. Weight, balance, and safety still decide what comfort can carry. A cabin can be personal, but aviation never lets taste escape engineering. At this level, comfort is not added. It is engineered into light, sound, air, space, and routine. The passenger sees softness. The certifier sees flame resistance, durability, emissions, weight, and escape requirements. The long flight changes the equation. Arrive rested, and the aircraft has altered the next day before it begins. Private aviation turns distance into atmosphere. One evening in New York, one pale morning over Europe. First class sells comfort inside a schedule. Private aviation sells the schedule itself. For some owners, the aircraft is not about being seen. It is about being present in more than one life. The same machine that signals status can also buy privacy during moments nobody wants photographed. Private jets do not escape aviation. They rent a more flexible position inside it. On an aircraft, even privacy has dimensions, weight, drainage, certification, and maintenance. The owner buys access, but availability must still be protected by planning that never becomes glamorous. A machine built for oceans is sometimes moved by inches because one careless moment can become expensive. Not everyone who flies private owns the aircraft. Sometimes the smarter purchase is access, not possession. Charter can feel simple until the empty leg, crew duty, airport choice, and timing begin to price themselves. One of private aviation's strangest costs is a flight nobody wanted to take. Luxury survives only when precision is maintained. In a Gulfstream, precision is not decorative, it is operational. The passenger remembers the leather seat. The aircraft remembers every landing. Access to difficult airports is not magic. It is performance, regulation, crew discipline, and weather judgment meeting at once. The freedom to leave anywhere can quietly become the habit of never fully arriving. It cannot always buy the moment back. The modern private jet carries a new cost: scrutiny over fuel, emissions, visibility, and responsibility. Behind the polished cabin is an energy chain. Refined, transported, stored, tested, pumped, burned, and paid for. Discretion became harder when every tail number could turn into a conversation. The aircraft promises privacy inside, but outside it still belongs to a regulated, visible world. The cost of flying private often begins in law offices, not on runways. Private terminals may soften the border experience. They do not erase the border. The journey often begins before the city has opened its eyes. In the air, hierarchy becomes architectural. The room moves, the meeting continues, the outside world waits. The cabin may feel like a room, but every object remembers it is inside an aircraft. Private travel reduces waiting. It does not abolish waiting. It simply changes who waits with you. A seat that reclines perfectly is comfort to the passenger and a maintenance item to the operator. Paint is beauty, protection, resale signal, and maintenance evidence in one glossy surface. In the resale market, glamour is not enough. The aircraft must answer technical questions. At the highest level, ownership often means custody, preserving value while using it carefully. The purchase price makes headlines, the calendar makes ownership real. The jet compresses continents, but arrival still asks the same question. Was the time worth the cost? The real question is not whether private flight is expensive, it is how much control a traveler truly needs. Shared access can soften the cost, but every shared system asks the owner to surrender some certainty. Full ownership buys something charter cannot fully imitate: familiarity with the same aircraft, crew, routines, and silence. Private does not mean unregulated. The privilege is a quieter process, not a lawless one. The most expensive Gulfstream hour may be the one when the aircraft goes nowhere. Even stillness has a rate. The window is small, but it changes the feeling of the world below. Every private departure leaves more than a passenger behind. It leaves sound, fuel burn, and a public impression. Private aviation now lives with a contradiction it cannot polish away: saving time while spending carbon. Speed, range, and cabin comfort are not slogans. They are engineering compromises made invisible to the passenger. Delivery looks ceremonial. In truth, it marks the moment responsibility changes hands. The G700 received FAA type certification in March 2024, clearing the way for customer deliveries. A new aircraft does not begin with glamour. It begins with checklists. The passenger receives a personal gesture. Outside the window, the machine receives impersonal scrutiny. At oceanic scale, even an $80 million aircraft becomes a thin line crossing weather and distance. The shortest path is rarely the whole answer. Weather writes its own. In the aircraft may look unchanged everywhere. The world underneath it never is. Every return begins another cycle: inspection, cleaning, records, restocking, scheduling, and readiness. When the passenger leaves, the luxury becomes work again. The flight ends in a hangar, but financially, it ends on a desk. A Gulfstream is always waiting for someone to decide that time is worth more than money. The real cost is not flying private. It is building a life where ordinary time no longer feels enough.